This is an Infiniti Q50. It is kind of a sneak peek of the future of Infiniti and even Nissan. But more importantly, this is the motor that is going to be very similar to the one that's going to be in the 400Z, hopefully coming out next year. Now, this Infiniti started out with 300 horsepower. That's it. Twin turbos, V6, and only 300 horsepower? Well, let me tell you what, the amount of meat on the bone with these engines is astounding. This one makes 525 to the wheel. So let's find out kind of sort of what the 400Z is going to be like, but in a much bigger package. All right, Infiniti Q50. Q50 and Q60, I get confused a lot. The Q50 is a really interesting kind of segment in Nissan's lineup. Say Nissan because y'all are smart. You know Infiniti's part of Nissan, right? Okay, so we have an automatic transmission and it's only Triptronic. So we don't have a manual and we don't have paddles, which seems very weird in this big of a sports sedan. In my opinion, the Q50 has been overshadowed by its competitors that it's trying to play top dog against. Now, what do I mean by competitors? Oh, you know, little tiny companies like BMW and Mercedes and everyone else that builds luxury cars, Lexus. A fairly expensive car. You have 300 horsepower versus say a BMW M series or an AMG or something along those lines where you spend a little bit more money. This only has 300 horsepower. But what I love about the Q50 is the meat on the bone of this thing. Now, why do I say that? Well, we're starting with 300 horsepower and you do minor mods to, let's say, another V6. What do you think is gonna happen? In my opinion, I'm thinking, oh, you know, 350 horsepower, maybe 400 if we're lucky. You know, the Red Sport makes 400, so probably somewhere around, no, it makes 525 wheel horsepower. My buddy Christopher, who has had everything from the Taurus SHO I reviewed that so many of you guys loved, all the way until a Pontiac G8 with a big turbo on it. He just loves four doors. That's like his thing now. He had a 1,000 horsepower Evo, anything with four doors, he's been there, he's done it. GS 300 with a single turbo on it. That's just what I associate with Chris. And then Chris called me up one day and goes, hey man, you have to check out these Infiniti Q50s. You're really missing out. And I say to myself, really, Q50? I don't know, man. This looks like a normal average sedan by Infiniti, like whatever, right? The Q50 used, you can get these for a pretty good deal nowadays. But I will say the materials inside is what really takes it away from being a top tier competitor to people like BMW. So inside the Q50, there's a few things I noticed that most of it feels pretty great, except this one little part of the interior I like literally can't get my finger on. So here's a POV of the interior. Now, what I was talking about is this silver trim right here. So this silver trim right here looks like, I was gonna give it a really hard time because it looks like hard plastic, kind of like this is right here. See, this is just cheap and it's starting to wear. But this has this like weird texture on it. Like it's smooth, but looks cheap at the same time. Like it has a nice surface touch to it, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is. But everything else though, like the door panels, all of this is really, really nice. It has a really good feel to the touch. You know, the seats, they're like normal seats. The back seats, they're comfy, like whatever. Trunk space is okay. It's really not that big. All right, so to turn stability control off is super weird. I had to push down the brake pedal and these buttons appear under where the pedal assembly is. And you hold that button down for 7 seconds. Like, what a weird freaking way to stop people from doing donuts. One thing I will say about the Q50 is that when you put a really nice wheel and tire setup on it, the rotors look way too small. It's just tiny little rotor and a big wheel. It's super weird. Woo! Okay, I just did like a wicked slide. That's a completely different car. Now I'm just cruising. What the heck just happened, dude? That was so weird. Whole tail kicked out. I was not ready. Oh my God, I'm like, the amount of momentum I just gained from that is absurd. Also, I want to apologize that this review is a little bit darker than usual. Unfortunately, daylight savings time just happened, and unfortunately, the only time I could really get my hands on this car for a review was after Chris had work, so sorry about that, guys. We're taking a car that had 300 horsepower and we're just turning it all the way up. Chris did all the work to this car, but it was also tuned by Z1 Motorsports. Huge shout out to Z1 Motorsports. They are good people and they know what they're doing with anything Nissan or Z related. Another car this kind of reminds me of is a newer version of the G37X I just reviewed previously. It was all-wheel drive and had a giant single turbo on it, but it made 600 horsepower. God. It just shows how much better the interior got from the G37 to the Q50. The motor does have this like hint of R35 GTR though, that is for sure. It's lower displacement, but that little trombone is still there somewhere. I will say though, the car is very Harley. I will say the car is very pleasant to sit in traffic. It's very quiet. I don't have to yell at you during this review. It's also got a still-in full exhaust on it, which is very nice as well. And I love the carbon diffuser and the carbon rear lip on the back of this thing. Because honestly, to the untrained eye, this just looks like a normal red, boring sedan until you add just those little... That was a V6 Mustang, also known as the American VQ. And I will say that the front end of the Infiniti is mean looking, and so is the back. In my opinion, it does look better than the G35's front end. The G35 front end, I always had a hard time loving. I always liked the back though, never minded that. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. Well, definitely weird, but maybe I'm just picky. I don't even know anymore. If you're looking for more of like a tuner car feeling compared to the German cars, this is definitely the one to go with. So I mentioned earlier it had minor mods. Some of the minor mods being a larger intercooler, heat exchanger, fuel pumps, stuff like that. So basically it's all supporting mods that you would do for a higher horsepower car anyways. And by doing that, this engine just loves it. It just eats it. The first thing you notice in this car is the torque. It has so much torque. It hits so hard. Like just tapping the accelerator pedal, you just jump forward like that and you hit your head on the headrest. There is a bike that will not stop revving behind me. Let's see if he blows by. Here he comes. Thought so. So I just pulled up to a gas station and just realized I should have just done the rest of my talking points in gas station lighting. That would have been helpful. Would have been really helpful. Ooh, spooky. I now upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I'm actually changing my Saturday to Sunday. And I hope you all enjoyed this sort of weird nighttime episode of That Dude in Blue. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.